Hello. I'm back again, trying to keep up with the lives. I'm back here again, and I've kind of cropped this in a little bit more than usual because I'm trying to not show too much of the background. I'm going to start packing pretty soon. Things are already looking a little messy, and well, it is what it is back here. I think eventually I'm going to upgrade my webcam. I think I use it's a Logitech Brio, and when it came out about 5 or 6 years ago, it was the thing, and it still is a very good webcam, as you can tell. It just does not do very good in dark lighting. So when I try and up these lights, let's try and up them a little bit. I should have done this before. Anyways, you can see then I get a little bit more blown out. I'm really, really pale on this. Anyways, as far as webcams, it is really good, and it can do 4K. I just don't see the point of it just yet, but it can do 4K because I only broadcast in 1080p. I don't like to do 720. I feel like it should be a little bit better, but as I've been reviewing webcams, they're getting better. There's new ones coming out that are actually even better than this thing. And who knows, I might invest in one a few months down the line, but not yet because I'm moving. So maybe after May, we'll see. Depends on where I move to and what I'm doing. I'm also thinking of starting these lives a bit later. I should give a longer introduction. The reason being is I find people start popping in here after I've started talking. So that's why I put on these 2-minute introductions. It sort of puts out that, hey, I've got a live going, and then people can kind of jump on that bandwagon, and then they come in, and you're supposed to have people like waiting for you to start, sort of thing. So, but no, people usually come in. Some people don't even come in until I'm like saying, well, that's it, folks. Good night. And then somebody comes in and goes, hi. I really? Now? I've been on. I can go live for like 2 hours and somebody will jump in. Anyways, I'm going to be doing some drawing in just a moment. Actually, I'll get this set up. I got to just switch monitors here and do something that you actually can't see at your end, but I can see at mine. How y'all doing? All 0 of you. You can see the orange glow of my tablet. My tablet. That's what I got to talk to you about. My tablet. My XP Pen. You've all seen. I'm going to do actually a formal video on this. You've all seen the little short that I did, YouTube short. If you haven't, go look at the one with my finger on the button. Let me give you a little quick backstory. For the longest time, I was using those little plastic tablets you could draw on, and then you would see it on the screen. I just don't have that. I don't have very good hand-eye coordination. They drove me bonkers, and I always said, one day I'm going to get a nice glass tablet. And in 2018, I got a XP Pen Pro that was on sale. The reason it was on sale is because it was an older model, but it was a Pro. It was nice, though. You drew great on the glass. There was none of that fancy textured stuff to make it feel like paper and the matte finish and all that. It was glass, and it taught me to draw on glass, but I was okay with it. I actually adapted to it really well. That was okay, as long as I could see where the pen was touching the surface and making that drawing. If I have to do it on a pad and look at the monitor, or look at the monitor, they just never worked for me. So I had that for a couple of years, but it was an older model. It was missing a few things. You had to keep recharging the pen. I noticed the XP Pen was advertising on sale their Artist 22 second generation. It was not the Pro model, but it was a second generation that had tilt, and you didn't have to recharge the pen, and it was I don't know, it still seemed like just as nice of a model. I thought, okay, and it had the matte finish, which I thought that might be a nice change. And I got it. I wasn't really that big on it. So I sold the Pro model. I sold that to what is my roommate, who's at work right now, but I sold that to him. Somebody's dinging me. What do you want? Later. I sold that model to him so that I could get the next generation up, because it was already an older model at the time that I got it. So I bought the Artist 22 second gen, and it was a nice machine. I started using it, and it was doing a lot of nice stuff. And then about almost about 2 years, 2 years and 2 weeks, it blink went out. Nothing. That's where you see the video of me clicking the top. Gone. And I tried messaging the company, and it was this tag back and forth. It took them so long to correspond with them. It was awful. I just wanted some answers. Like, why did it do this? And can I, like, what can I do? I send it back? Do you fix it? Well, apparently it was already past warranty by 2 weeks. 2 weeks past the warranty. I was pissed. I was so mad. I said, can you guys do anything for me at all? Nope, we'll give you a discount on a new model. I was angry, and I felt like I shouldn't have gone with a new model, but they were also offering me like 45% off of a selected certain number of models. And I thought, well, all right, I'll go with the next one up, the big one, the 24-inch. It's basically like the 22. It's just the next one up, but it's an extra couple inches, and they gave me a really, really good deal on it. I thought, okay, nice. Touch wood. The warranty was only like 18 months, year and a half. Now, you've heard me talk about this one I'm using now, and you've heard me talk about this, that it every once in a while will blink out. Son of a bitch. Okay, but there's still power at the top. I can still see the power light still staying on, so it's still getting power, right? So I thought, what's going on with this? Why does it keep blinking? And it'll come back on like 3 seconds. If it goes out, if I wait 3 seconds, it'll come back on. Unfortunately, if I'm doing a live like this, I have to reconnect it into the live, into Streamlabs. And my friend keeps messaging me, and I've kind of said no messages or calls today, but he's being persistent. Anyways, I might do a little kind of washroom break here and there. Anyways, so it's blinking out, right? It's blinking out, and I'm thinking, what's going on? Because it's still getting power. It's still getting power. So maybe it's just the cord. Maybe it's the USB-C to USB-C. Maybe that's all it is. And I was hoping it was, because it feels like that's maybe what it might be. Because it's still getting, you can tell it still has power. I'm thinking that's probably all it is. So I wrote to them. I wrote to XP Pen, and I just asked them about the cord. Can any USB-C to USB-C cord work? Or does it have to be specifically this one that you have for your model? Like maybe there's a certain, I don't know, something about the cord that maybe I have to take into consideration. So maybe just anyone might not work. Like I have an old one here that I tried, and it doesn't work, but it is an old cord. So anyways, they said, oh, it might be the connector on the tablet. Can you give us the information, like when you bought it, the model number, who you got it through? Well, in order to get the discount, they offered it through Amazon, which is where I had to get it. And gave the model number, my address. They wrote back, and they says, oh, because you bought it through that, the warranty is only 12 months, not 18. If you bought off the site, it would have been 18. And I've had it for 14 months, and I thought it was still within the warranty. So, and then again, they had the audacity to say, well, we can offer you maybe another model. I thought, no. So you're telling me there's something wrong with this tablet less than a year after I've had it. That does not speak well for the quality of your products, XP Pen. XP Pen. I want to put that name out there. To not buy any more XP Pen. That you've had 2 of these start crapping out on me in less than 2 years. This one just over 1 year. The first one hair over 2 years. When you pay that much money, I mean, planned obsolescence. I get it. I get it that's a thing. That is a real thing. And I understand that completely. But still, when you feel like you save up some money and you spend about $500-600, give or take. This one I got a deal with. It was under $5, right? You expect them to have a little more longevity than that. And I was told, well, that's why you should always get the Pro models. Because the first one still works, although he kind of uses the damn thing, but it still works. It's definitely an older model. He finds the pen dies quickly and he's got to keep charging it, and you don't have the tilt capabilities and all that. But it is the build quality is the build quality around these things, right? So I'm not going with XP Pen again. I will look into Huion next. Wacom's really expensive. It's you're looking at 4 digits. It's over twice as much. And Huion's comparable, depending on what you're getting. I've heard some reviews saying Huion's got a little edge on Wacom in some things, but Wacom does have their good customer service, etc. For the amount you pay, you should. But yeah. So I'm not going with XP Pen ever again. They've lost me as a customer. I'll keep using this one for as long as I can. I will see if I can get a replacement USB-C cord, USB-C to USB-C. I'll get one of those. And I'll try it, and I'll see if maybe that's all it is. Fingers crossed, right? But I'm not happy. That's disgusting, and shame on them for I don't know. It feels. It just feels like they're taking advantage of their customer base, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So, boo on XP Pen. Let's see if I can get this open up here now. I've ranted on enough, and I'm probably going to rant about it a bit more. I'd like to know if anyone else has a Huion. It's not a Pro model. Maybe one of their standard 24H was it FDH or QDH, I forget what it's called. The high def ones that aren't Pro models that you can still get for $500, $600, $700 in that range. How long have they lasted? How long has your Huion tablet lasted? I'd like to know that. And I'm going to do a proper formal video so I can insert some B-roll and what I'm talking about, so you can see what I'm talking about. I would let's see if I can get the on screen going here so I can share this screen window, entire screen. All right, see if I can get the window can work, but I don't like it. It doesn't have everything in it. It's going to be blank here. All right. No, I don't want that view. Yeah. I have somebody trying to text me for a minute here. No, it's fine. I'm going to do a quick short break, as much as I hate to do this, but I need to message someone back. I'm testing something out here with that I just realized with Streamlabs. If this works, it'll kind of saves. I have been using Streamlabs for almost 2 years, and I just realized this detail with this. I don't know if I'm going to be renewing them in March, but is it March? Yeah, it's the middle of March. It ends. I like using Streamlabs. If I can use the others, Talk Studio. I like using Talk Studio, but that costs money. If I can use just the Streamlabs thingy, I'll use that. I'm so technical. I'll keep using that, but I don't know. We'll see. They gave me a deal on it for a year, which is why I'm still using it. I do really like it a lot. It's easier to manage things, but we'll find out. We'll see. I'll have to move in May. Oh. Anyways, take a short break so I can message my friend back, and I'll be right back in a minute. Here's a funny little clip, and then just a little countdown, and I'll be back in just a few minutes.
There's too much water in that kettle. And now the lid's on crooked. And that means disaster for this lady. Because she is on a boat. Don't boil a kettle on a boat.
All right, he's still messaging me. Maybe that was actually went by really fast. I should make those a little bit longer. Maybe I don't know. I might actually have to. No, let me just do this really quick. I hate doing this. I don't like, but people's timing is fantastic. It's unbelievable. I don't know how to describe that I could sit for hours and hours and hours during the day with nothing, and then as soon as I do something, as soon as I'm talking to one person, everything comes in. It's like they plan it that way. It's unbelievable. All right, we'll talk later if you want. All right. And you give me a thumbs up. Okay, well, we're done. I have a mystery viewer again. I always get this mystery viewer. I think I know who it might be. I'm not going to say that because I could be wrong. But I don't want to give any initials either. But I think I know who it is. I know who you are watching. And you're probably going, you're probably wrong, but guess what? Guess what? I think I might not be. Anyways, I'm going to bring up a drawing in just a moment. And just to make sure this stays clear, I'm turning the audio off on it. It might buzz again later, and I'll try and do one in a bit. Anyways, I wish I had some of my others in. Let me get the chat going here because I can't see the chat at the moment. I apologize if somebody's messaged. No one's messaged at all yet. How about that? All right, let's see what I can get going here. This is something I started last time, and if I can find the reference material, I can continue it. But let me adjust this because now I'm squished in the screen a bit more. There we go. That's Babar the elephant. When I started back in my younger days, in the early 90s, I did a little bit of work with Babar the elephant. Oh, there's some stuff I got to fix in this. Okay. And, oh, hi, look at that. 3 of them all at once. Junebug, Terry, Jim, hello, how are you all? I just went on like a 10-minute rant about my tablet. Now everybody shows up. If you have, what did I do here? If you have some time later, by all means, go back and hear me scream about that. I'm having some issues with this tablet now, and I just got. If you remember the video from a couple of years ago when my previous tablet crapped out on me, now this one's giving me some issues. So once in a while, this might blink out, and you'll see it disappear off the screen. I have to bring it. I have to bring it back in. It's manageable for now. I'm just not happy, and I tried to contact XP Pen, and they are awful, and I will never deal with them ever again. If you're looking to get a drawing tablet, I don't recommend XP Pen now. I've tried giving them chances, and nope, they blew it. They blew it for me, boy. I'm not happy with them at all. Babar, King of the Elephants. Oh yeah, this was when I first started in animation. It was one of the first things I did. It was a kids animated series based on a children's book, I believe, a French children's book, if I'm not mistaken. And Nelvana did it did the series for many years, and I did in-betweens. If you're familiar with animation, you know what in-betweens are. If you're not, it's basically the animator just does the key drawings in the motion. So he does to give the idea what the motion is going to be. And the animator or the in-betweener just came in and did the drawings in between those keys. Hence why he's the in-betweener. And we used to call it tweening sometimes for short because, I don't know, we were dumb. We know here being smart. But anyways, that's... that's kind of what I did. It's very monotonous work, and I don't like doing in betweening. If unless you really like that kind of. And some did. Some did it and were very good at it. If you've got good line quality and you can do cleanup or in betweening, it really does strengthen your drawing for sure. When you're looking at two images and you have to figure out how that character is moving in between those two keys, and you have to draw those drawings in between. That's a tricky thing to do that right, to keep your volume consistent and to understand motion and what it's doing. Because sometimes it's not just like, two little drawings close together and you're putting a sliver in between them. It does come to that if something's moving really slow. But if it's a broad movement where you're turning and you have to, and the keys like one here and one here, you have to figure out that midpoint and the slow ins and slow outs and how that's going to go. That's another skill all in of itself. So in betweening, I don't want to knock in betweening. It's an important job, and it has to be done right. Like you can't screw that up, because otherwise the movement's going to look like crap, and people are going to sit there going, "That's crap animation," and they will. It'll be some mom sitting with a kid who doesn't know the first thing about cartoons or animation making, and she'll sit there with their kid and go, "Holy crap, that's terrible." They do it. But you got to have some high standards in any job, I think, to make something work. And, people are going to watch it years later, and they're going to appreciate it years later. When you're an adult and you remember watching as a kid and you go back to rewatch them, and you can just see how nice everything looks and how it moves, and you have a deeper appreciation for it. And that's where that hard work kind of pays off. I stopped doing in betweening though, because it was so monotonous. It just fried my brain. And I'm going to see if I can find the reference for this. I might start coloring them in. I moved on to layout about a year later, and I worked on Rupert the Bear, which is a great kids show that is based off a British book series. It was produced by Nelvana. And they had a bunch of voice actors that did terrible British accents, but it was a really cute series, and it was fun to do because it was very storybookish. So the backgrounds, when I did the layouts, I drew the backgrounds in very simplified. They were the backgrounds that would go on to be painted, right? So, and you had to also plan where the path of animation was going to go in the scene, and I drew some. Not the keys that the key animator does, but you put in a few main drawings in that the key animator then will base that off, just to show the flow of movement. If he has to go behind an object, or if an object has to be overlaid in front of him, etc., so forth, I could plan all that out, and I'd have to take that from the storyboard. I'm going to do some of that, not tonight, but I'm planning to do some of that on here in the future to show how layout's done, because I really enjoyed it. And while I struggled in school with some of my work, I found that once I got into the industry, I was learning a lot more real quick, and I really enjoyed it a lot. It's a shame that didn't last. In the late 90s, Nelvana did Bob and Margaret, a series that nobody's heard of anymore, but that would have been a fun one to work on. The designs in that are very silly, and it's a lot of fun. And I've been rewatching episodes of that because no one remembers it. You can't even get it on DVD. So you can't get it on Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, and unless you find old VHS copies of it. But even to order DVDs, you can't anymore. But that was a cute series. I just missed out also on working on the Beetlejuice cartoon, because it had just been canceled, or just finished or canceled, whatever, just before I started. That would have been fun because it was such goofy design work. But let's see if I can bring up. I'm out of breath all of a sudden. Good heavens. I'm going to see if I can lower this. Oh, geez, sorry about that. I'm a little. I dropped a bit. That's okay. It's just me. It's not that important. Let's see. How is everyone else doing? If you have any questions on anything, by all means, fire away. Chat a little bit. We can. Oh, is this it? No. Oh, somebody asked me to do a movie. Some people asked me to do so many things. Don't tell me I dumped it. Did I delete it? Oh my God. I might have to do a quick search and find it again. I don't have it open on my phone, by the way. So when I'm seeing it on Talk Studio, whenever somebody types something and sends it in, I get it really late. I get it like a minute and a half later. So I apologize for the delay. I don't know if this doesn't go very well. I might not be able to continue this. What the hell? It's a shame. I accidentally dumped that image. That's a shame. I was kind of had a reference going for this, and it's not here, and it's not on my desktop. Oh, damn it. Oh, found it. Aha. Good. Okay. I don't have to go searching for it again now. Oh, I didn't intend that to do that. Okay. I am sorry for all this. He's wearing a green outfit. Let's get a layer underneath this going. I feel like I got to fix a little bit of the pencil work here. Just a couple of tiny things that are driving me bonkers. And I'm going to just fix them up really quick because I can. This tusk is supposed to be tucked into the skin, as you can see, which is why it's going around it. And I feel like this is not connecting right here. So let's, this should come down a little bit more anyways. What's everyone up to? I had everyone pop in and say hello. Now everyone's gone. And this is also not, this seems to be a Clip Studio issue where you see how it keeps changing to an arrow and I lose the pen. That only seems to be doing with Clip Studio for some reason. I don't know if that's the tablet not handling Clip Studio very well, or if that's an issue with Clip Studio and XP Pens. I'm sure if I tried messaging somebody, nobody would give me an answer for that. No, we don't know what the hell is going on. So I've just been dealing with it. Maybe eventually I'll try and open up Affinity. I'd like to start drawing in Affinity. This feels like it should go up higher. That's also, this is his tie is a bit twisted. So let's kind of get this a little bit better. Hi, Jim. Jim is also an artist and an animator, and he works on his own films. He does like full-length features himself. I don't know how you do that. Although once I get the iPad, oh, that doesn't look right. Once I get the iPad, the animation programs on the iPad going, I intend to start doing something with that myself. Because I have what's the three big ones? Toon Squid, Calipeg, I think. And now Procreate Dreams, which I have some hopes for. Some people have been complaining about that lately, even though it was off to like a really big kaboom. But now people are kind of complaining about it. I'm trying to. I haven't had a chance to go back to it yet. I got it. It was like $30 Canadian or something like that. But I got it because I wanted to learn to use it. And everybody says, well, it doesn't have this and doesn't have that. But Toon Squid has it. Calipeg has this. You can do this, but you can't do it in the Procreate Dreams. I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake. You just tell me that ahead of time. That would have saved me some money, maybe. But I don't know. I got it anyways, and they're going to keep improving on those programs. So I hope eventually I can. From what it seems like, I can do what I need to do anyways. From what at least I just need to spend some time in it. All right, there. His tie is kind of tucked in there a little bit. Now, what I'd like to know, if I make this a reference, this is a really rough pencil look, and I made it pencil on purpose because they did have a look. I want to clean this one up too. A look of it looked like a children's book. It was supposed to. It was based on a children's book, and they wanted to maintain that look to it. So we kept the pencil work kind of a little rough at the time. Most of their stuff kind of looked like that, though. No. Oh, hold on. Hi, Terry. All right, that's a little bit better. There's a few little lines kind of creeping in. I'm not too worried about these. Okay, that's pretty good there. That's fine. I shouldn't be really that fussy for something like this. It's not really. It's just. I'm doing all right. If you haven't heard the news yet, I'm going to be moving the end of April. I have to leave this abode. It's let me call this a sketch, finished sketch layer. And we'll call this color with a U because I am Canadian. Yeah, it's not. I've been telling people it's not a renoviction per se, but they've made living in this building rather difficult. These new people that bought it, it's a big corporation, and then the management company has been difficult, and I'm just had enough. So I received an offer. If I wanted to move, they would offer a little something for that, and I just went, you know what? That's good. I'll take it. I want out of here, and I'm done. I'm done. It's I feel like I've been kind of screwed around enough, and the party's over here. So yeah, I'm hoping it'll be a good thing. I really am. I think it will be. The only problem is that I'd like to stay in Burlington because I work part-time at the YMCA and I really like that job. And I should be slightly lighter, I think. And I like that job. I'd like to keep it. But it's so expensive living in Burlington. I lucked out when I got into this building and the deal that I got with it at the time. Burlington, Ontario is, I think, right now it is considered the 6th most expensive city to live in Canada. It's, yeah, basically, Terry. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah. But they would like us to move out so they can kind of re-renovate all the units and then charge double the amount. So thanks, Jim, though. I appreciate that. I'm kind of going underneath these lines because you can see there's a lot of white in there, right? So if I can color that in, all these little clips here that poke out. But I'm going to see if I can stay in Burlington. You know what, Jim? I am looking into a tiny house or a trailer. The only problem is where to put it. There's not many places in Ontario you can put down a tiny home unless somebody who has like a large property is willing to maybe rent you some space off their property. But I am considering that, or like a mobile home. They get a bad rap. I think my grandmother lived in a mobile home and it was beautiful. I always thought that would be kind of a nice thing. But again, there's not very many mobile parks anymore. Yeah, I know. I should really do that. Unfortunately, they own everything. I would be kicked off so quick. But yeah, it's crossed my mind. See, the other thing too is I was hoping to keep saving my money, and eventually I want to work on getting my ancestry visa. It is very expensive, but I'd like to get my ancestry visa and live in the UK for a while. And now this should be kind of an opportunity for it, but because the ancestry visa is so expensive and so time consuming and takes so long, I'm not going to have that ready in a couple of months. So I am going to have to find something until I can get that ready to go. But that is something I am definitely considering. Yeah, they really can, Terry. There's my grandmother lived in a lovely place in London, Ontario. There's a couple of parks in London, but I'm not sure I want to move back to London, Ontario now. London's got a lot of issues, but I have considered that. I'd like to keep my job here in Burlington, though, if I can. My boss wants me to stay. She doesn't want to lose me. There was a really nice park in the city of Mississauga, which is kind of not far from me. It's sort of part of Toronto, part of the GTA. Mississauga is a big place, but they just had a whole issue where everybody in that trailer park got booted out because they wanted to build on the property. And the property got sold, and they booted everybody out. It was a huge mess. It was not nice. So it's a long story. I have a certain affinity for the UK. Like my whole family is from there. It's just more for the experience and to spend some time there and see. I've got family and friends there. I could probably settle in quite well. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I mean, I just. Why is that not coloring? You know, the grass is always greener, right? And I know that. But I don't know. There's it's been something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I sort of know. I know that. But some people have actually kind of said that too. It's like, why would you want to go there? They're having a lot of issues. I'm like, I know they're having a lot of issues. Believe me, I follow it all the time. There's people wanting to leave the UK. But it's just for personal reasons, so I can kind of take in some of the culture. I found out one of the places I want to go to is Canterbury, which is in Kent, and then I find out that my great grandfather was born and raised in Canterbury. So I'm like, it just seemed like, you know, bring the name back home kind of thing, right? And I felt like that was kind of it was kind of meant to be, to go back to Canterbury. So I don't know if it'll be permanent, though. I'll eventually come back. Who knows? It'd be nice if there's talk now of Canada possibly becoming part of the EU. I don't know if that'll actually go through or not, but no, unfortunately, England left. That's the whole Brexit thing, but I'm not sure how long that'll actually remain like that for, but that's a whole nother conversation. Oh, I missed a line here, didn't I? Oh, I gotta add an extra line down here. Okay. Let's come back and fix that in a minute, but I'm going to turn off the color and add a line on there that I missed for his other sleeve. Vancouver, yeah, I know it's. Remember, I said that Burlington is the 6th most expensive place to live in Canada. Guess what's number 1? It's Vancouver. It's more expensive than Toronto. I just said Toronto. Toronto. It's a beautiful place. It's considered one of the most beautiful cities in Canada and one of the most expensive. But it is really fantastic. I've also visited Kelowna, which is nice. Kelowna's got some issues, but it is really beautiful, though. And all along the Okanagan Valley is really nice. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I decide to do. I'm not. Let's see. How's my? How is this looking? Needs a bit of cleanup, but he's coming along. Saskatchewan, I can go sit and look at the wheat all day. I've actually, whoops. Oh God, what's going on? I've actually, I don't want to live in Calgary. Calgary is a beautiful place to visit. I'm not sure I want to live there. It's, man, you think the time changes are bad here. In the during the winter months, it's completely dark by 4:00. It's bad enough here that it's dark by 5:30. There, it's like a couple hours earlier. So I don't know, but Calgary is a nice place to visit. But you would not want to live. Do you know, the further north you go, there's a reason everyone lives close to the border. So as soon as you start going up, Calgary's are hellish, and as you keep going north, they just keep getting worse and worse. Yeah, at the territories, any of the territories, I think it would be interesting to see them. I think there's some fantastic things to see there, but I don't think I could live in like the Yukon and that would just no, just too cold. Although that'd be my big chance to get away from it all. But Whitehorse, yeah. That's the reason it's called Whitehorse. It's frozen. But yeah, it's brutal. I was going to say a minute ago, I actually have lived in Saskatchewan. I was very young. It's where I was born in Quebec. But it was just because my folks were in the service and they were actually already on their way out. It just happened that they were waiting for me to be born, and I popped out into the world, and I would never return to Quebec until after the year 2000. That's just happened where I was born. So I don't speak any French. But my father was stationed in Saskatchewan, and the winters there are nightmarish. We were in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and man, you could. I remember my mother saying you could not go between the barracks, like just a few minutes apart, without completely bundling up and covering your face, because you would. It could burn your skin within minutes. It was so cold. in the winter. So yeah, mine, yeah, it was. My parents didn't like living in Quebec, and it was It was like 1968, and it was just not a time to be there. I've been to Montreal. Now I love visiting Montreal. Actually, it's a beautiful place to visit. I could even live there. Even I think it would be a nice place to actually live as well. But Alaska, yeah, that would be just as bad as the territories, I think. But I think if I was going to live in Canada, I would stay in Ontario. Just where I did really like was Halifax. We took a road trip back in 2018 to see the Maritime Provinces, and that was fantastic. It rained half the time we were there, though. But boy, we saw Prince Edward Island, which was gorgeous. And these are what am I doing? These are green too. Halifax, 68. I was born in 68, December. But yeah, I'm not old. Almost time for my Jello. But we moved around a lot. We after Saskatchewan is where we came to Niagara Falls. Beautiful place to visit, but it's not a place I'd want to live. The quality of life there is it depends. If you have money, it can be nice, but if there is no middle class, you either have a really nice place or you live in a dump. It's because Niagara Falls, like when you think of the falls and all the touristy attractions that are all kind of awful. That's all one area, and people think about that. But as far as where you're living, it's not. It's unfortunately just not a pretty place to live. St. Catharines isn't bad, which is right next to it. It's kind of nice. I thought about St. Catharines. There's a lovely little city called Guelph. I would live in. Most of the Americans are just tourists. That's I could manage that. Like I don't think there's too many that live there. I don't think. But Guelph, I would live. There's the Kitchener-Waterloo area. I wanted to stay connected to the GTA. So if you think of all these cities along the lake, like where you got Toronto, which is connected with Etobicoke, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, and then down to Hamilton, which is right along the lake. It's all connected by the GO train system, so which is nice. So you could go anywhere and see it. You can see big. If you want to go to Toronto and see concerts, I have friends that live there. It's just easy just to hop on the GO train. It's not terribly expensive, and just go. And I like having that. I think the suit's a bit too. If I darken the suit, I wonder if it'll do it all in one shot. Actually, even from here, I can go visit Niagara Falls really easily. The GO system also connects down to Niagara Falls. It's a bit of a trip the opposite direction, but it's easy to get to Niagara Falls. That's an easy trip to make. And I like going there. I like getting my camera and going to Niagara Falls. I even thought about seeing if I could do caricatures down there. You have to get a permit, and it's quite a long process and kind of obnoxious, but The Americans? That was the one thing I will say that I appreciated when I was in the UK. Their transit, because everything's so close together. Every city has its own bus system, and then if I want to get between, if I want to go from Dover to Canterbury or into London, or even go all the way up to like Manchester, Birmingham, or wherever, you just, whoops, what the hell? It's easy to just you hop on a train system that'll take you there, and you just go, and everything connects. All the cities connect quite easily. I've heard it started getting a little expensive now. It's apparently gone up in price, but it is easy to hop around. Oh, we're going to do his crown. Manchester. The crowns are almost slightly orangish. That is pretty close. There's a little bit of bleeding there. I can take care of that in a bit. I remember when we left Saskatchewan, we moved to London, Ontario. We lived there for about a year or so. That's where my dad was stationed. And then they moved him up to a little town called Camp Borden. And while I have really fond memories, their winters were absolutely brutal. Just buried the house up there. I have pictures of my mother and I sitting out the back in the back porch with the snowbank so high, and it was covering half the house. We actually had to dig out the front door, which is funny because it's right near Wasaga Beach, and you get some lovely weather in the summer. To go up to the beach there is really nice. But boy, those winters were just nasty. Never saw anything like it. I've got pictures from April 1st when they got blasted with this incredible snowstorm. It was called the April Fool's snowstorm they got. Just unbelievable. So my dad retired that year. He decided he had enough, and there was some reasons he decided he wanted to get out of the Air Force and just didn't want to do it anymore. There was a lot of issues going on at the time, and he decided he was done, and thought it'd be a good time to retire. And we had the option; they would help relocate you wherever you wanted to move to. And at the time, we had enjoyed London so much the year before that. My mother was like, why don't we just go back to London? That was a really nice place. And it was in the 70s. It was a nice place. And sadly, something kind of happened to that city in the 80s. And my mother was so angry that, that they had picked this place to live. And then it was, horribly mismanaging money, and what was once a beautiful downtown just turned awful. No storms, just LA wildfires. I guess you gotta, it's not one, it's the other. Oh, those are pretty nasty. Those wildfires, those are terrifying. I feel for you guys. Oof. That's I don't know how you guys are managing. That's a whole nother. I mean, snow's just kind of let's take away the background. You get snow. it's just a seasonal thing, right? You put on some warm clothes and you make do until the spring comes. But wildfires, those are just absolutely. It's like living somewhere when you got tornadoes all of a sudden coming through, and it's like you're just waiting for it to wipe everything out. My tablet has been holding up here. Normally, the screen blinks out, and hopefully, I'm touch wood. I'm not speaking too soon here, but the tablet every once in a while blinks out. You'll see, and like the tablet, like it'll go black on the screen here. It'll just my drawing area will disappear. It comes back within 3 seconds. It's not the power; it's the connecting. I don't know if it's the cord. XP Pen is trying to say, "Oh, there's something wrong with the USB connection in the tablet." And they want me to buy another one. I was really angry at them. I kind of talked a bit about it at the beginning of the video because I'm not buying any more XP Pen tablets. They offered me, and I told them, I says, your build quality is crap. They crap out on me right when the warranty runs out, and then you turn and say you want me to buy another one. This is twice. This is the second one, and I'm not buying any more of your products. And in fact, I will tell people, if you're looking to get a drawing tablet, do not buy XP Pen. Do not buy them. Their customer service is rather difficult, and their build quality is terrible. So yeah, do not buy them. I'm like, this will be fine for now, but eventually I'll probably sell this one. I switched it to the refresh rate from 60 down to 50 because you can't really see much of a difference. And so far it hasn't. It's held up. Boy, I just did this just to clean it up, and it's just the penciling was maybe, I don't know if it was a good idea or not. Because now I'm like zooming in to clean all this, the areas up here with color. I will probably look to Huion for the next one. I wish I could afford a Wacom, but they are ridiculously expensive, and most people have said, you know what, if you can get a Huion, they are just as good. They said, when you're coming to quality, you're looking at like Wacom, and then Huion is under that, and XP Pen was a little bit less than that, but XP Pen has lost my confidence. So screw you, XP Pen. This green should have been slightly darker. In the coming weeks, I am going to do some layouts, what I used to do for layout for Rupert the Bear, and maybe I'll even see if I can find some scenes of Rupert the Bear and break them down, redraw the backgrounds, show the path of action, how I would do it. We used to do it. This is before the days of drawing tablets, and I do it on paper. I do have some animation paper in a peg bar, but I'd kind of like to do it on tablet because it's just easier to show on camera. It's easier to fix mistakes. Yeah, so, and maybe I'll do Rupert, and because it was such a fun show and I missed working on it, was maybe I'll have a look at, I'll pull open, they're on YouTube, Bob and Margaret, because that is a funny series. And as long as you don't get into too much trouble for that, but I mean, Bob and Margaret is all up on YouTube, but they're worried about copyright. Maybe they should release it on Blu-ray. Just saying. Oops. All right, how is this going down here? There's white shoes. They have white shoes with dark gray bottoms. Whoops, I'm coloring in the bottoms. That's going to be gray. London, Ontario would be the last place we live in too. Both my folks passed away in London, Ontario, and I always went back to visit Dad. It was still kind of home, even though it was became a frustrating city to live in. Downtown just kind of went all downhill. But that's where both my folks have died, and I always said I kind of don't need to go back to London. One day when my time comes, my plot's already there. I'm going to sound morbid, but apologize. But when I kick the bucket, I'll be there for a really long time later. So I don't need to go back to London anytime soon. Maybe to visit some friends. I have some friends still living there, and if I go back, I usually go to the cemetery to visit the folks, so to speak. So it's yeah. I did go back. You know, I was living in Mississauga. The time that both my folks passed, I was living in Mississauga, and I decided to move back to London for a while because it's where I grew up, and it would help kind of settle things with my parents' stuff, and I don't know. But after I was there for about 4.5 years, I did have an offer to leave, to move in with somebody to help assist them. I'll have to, that'll require another explanation, but it was to help him out. And he was offering me really cheap rent, really, really cheap. And I couldn't resist it to save some money. So I decided to leave because London is very isolated. It's away from everything. And you can take Via Rail easily to get to Toronto, but it's really expensive. So I don't know, as much as I did like London, despite its problems, I just decided it was time to go, and I couldn't turn down the offer. And it meant, it was kind of an excuse for me to save some money. I lived there for about 4.5 years. I did like it. I made some really cool friends, some really great friends while I was there. It was kind of an excuse for me to recapture my youth a little bit in a weird sort of way. But I really did enjoy my time there. But I left when I did. So there he is. Anyways, he's colored. Maybe what I'll do is the image I'm looking at, I'm referring to, has two other characters. It has, I think, his wife. I think she's in pink, and she stands next to him here. And then there's another character, which is a rhinoceros. Excuse me, a rhinoceros over on this side. That's I've got another message coming through. Let me just save this. I might just take a short break for about 1.5 minutes and I can come back. I don't know if I'll have anyone still viewing when I come back, but if you guys don't mind, I'm going to take a short break. I'm not sure. It has been an hour. But let's see here. I still have 2 viewers. I did color. Maybe I could perhaps come back and we'll work on the rest next time. It'll give me something to do next time. Because it is getting close to 12. The roommate will be home in a little over half an hour. Oh, there it did. It just blinked out. Wow, it lasted a long time, that time. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to call it here for the night. But thanks, everyone, though, for... Thank you, everyone, for actually popping in. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see some kind of numbers kind of come in now. I'm going to try and do these when the roommate's not home. So it can be kind of inconsistent. Probably Mondays and Thursdays for sure, as long as I'm not called into work. I think Thursday, March the 6th, I have to work that night, so then I will. But I'm hoping maybe a little more often. It'd be nice if I can get like an afternoon live stream in. It'd be nice on like a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. It would be a lot of fun. But we'll see what happens from here, though. And then come the end of April, I've got to start packing and things I won't be able to do them as frequently. So, but I really appreciate you guys joining in. Thank you so much. And I will be doing this again soon for sure. So yeah, you too, Jim. Take care. Good night. Good night, Terry. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.